Good afternoon everybody and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Ollie and today we're going to be running through the different options in running usage reports in Prima Cloud. If you've got any questions during or after the session, Mike's on live chat today, so feel free to ask away. Okay. So in terms of usage reports in Prima, so you can export data, you can have automated reports set up to send via email, but there's a few different kind of routines and ways to actually get that information out of the system. Okay, so first of all then, once you're logged in, on your left hand side you've got reporting, and if you click into reports, and from this screen here, anyone that's not used reports before, there's different modules in which you can report on in terms of sales orders, stock control and vice versa. You can also search on the creator, so if you've customized any reports in Prima, you can put yourself as a creator so you can find your own customized reports. And then also, just to the right of that, you've got these tick options here, which is the key bit. So the standard version reports are what Prima's put in for you. The custom, if you've gone into those standard reports and played around with them and saved them as a custom version, those would show up in this list. And then, of course, if you search for all, it'd show you then all the standard reports and also the customized versions that you've set up as well. The different formats, so spreadsheet being kind of columns and rows of data, similar to Excel. As you can see on screen, that's what's shown at the moment in terms of the Excel reports available in Prima, or the spreadsheet reports rather. The analysis reports being kind of drag and drop. We'll focus mainly on that today in terms of building your own reports. So from the analysis reports, you've got kind of invoice sales, you've got sales order figures, you've got purchase analysis as well. So from these different reports within the system, you can actually drag and drop and build potentially 15 to 20 different reports based on what we'll cover today, usage reports or monthly spend or whatever it may be. And then the report option would be like hard copy PDF reports. So effectively you'd have your logo on the top left and then hard kind of coded in data which you can filter the criteria. So it may be stock reports, it may be salesperson information that just pulls through kind of company data and all the kind of figures along with that as well. Okay, so first of all then, if we focus on the analysis reports and the standard versions that Prima's put in for us. So from here what we'll start in is the invoice sales analysis. So in terms of actually kind of going into the invoice sales analysis or the sales analysis, the actual kind of routine in terms of building the reports is exactly the same. It's just based on different figures. So of course the invoice ones is based on posted invoices and credits, whereas sales analysis is based on sales order figures. So if you were looking for a kind of current month usage report, sales analysis would pull through regardless of whether it's been invoiced, or the invoice sales analysis would normally be kind of a recap of the month or the month before, whatever it may be, with I guess the true kind of invoiced data in there as well. Okay, so we'll start in that one. Okay, and when you first open the report, it looks quite busy, but we'll break it down into different sections so you can kind of understand how to build it, what the different fields mean, and how you can kind of filter the data as well. Okay, so top left, you've got analysis and criteria. If we switch into criteria, from here you can filter on an individual company if you wanted to, or you can, as an example, leave that out and then filter on multiple companies or have everyone shown in a list as well. So we'll come on to that shortly. And then also here you've got the invoice date box. So you can use, as an example, not specified, which search for absolutely everything, so I wouldn't advise that. Fixed periods, so you can look at certain periods such as last month, this month, quarters, this year, last year, etc. Year month, of course, then you can filter on 2019, and I'm looking at April as an example, you can do that. And then the inclusive range gives you the option then to filter based on from today's date, looking to, I don't know, something more specific such as the 1st of March. So if your customers come to you with a very specific requirement in terms of usage since the 1st of April, then you can actually put in there, okay, from the 1st of April up until the 21st, whatever November it is today, you can actually filter on that if you wanted to. Okay, so just for kind of speed purposes, we'll use last month and one customer, so it loads nicely. And then in the save criteria there, then hit that and then go back to the analysis, and that'll then load the data based on the report form that you've got at the moment. So breaking it down into the different sections, if we focus first of all on the attributes, and if I just extend this top one for the attributes there, this is all the information that you can have in the report. So as an example, if you were building like contract analysis or you were building account manager analysis, you can actually filter on those, but today we're focused on the usage reports, of course. So if you are looking at sales reports and other things like that, we do have a separate webinar based on sales reporting as a whole, and also the invoice analysis reports in terms of building those different kind of variations and some examples of those as well. Okay, so what we're looking for in here then for a usage report potentially might be classifications, might be stock codes, might be descriptions. So we'll start off with the stock code. So what you would do at the moment, as you can see, in the data that we've got in the report already, we've got the account code currently shown as a row, and we've also, if we scroll down further, we've got the ref company name shown in the row as well. So you can see that information within this area of the report as well. The columns being the month title and the measures showing in this section just here as well. So you can see October, and then the measures being what's in this kind of data section here as well. So you'll see that update as we go along as well. So if we build in the stock code into that report, so if I just drag and drop that, you can see a little arrow appear there. Once I just bring it over here, you can put it in front if you wanted to, but of course we want to see for that specific company kind of the product usage on that. So straight away in the month of October, this is some test data on our database. You can see then the products, the net and the net margin. So of course you don't want to show the customer the margin, so what you can do there is in this little data section here, drag and drop it away, just take it away from that data section, drop it over there, and then straight away it's just net, product code, and then also the customer as well. So potentially you might not need the customer's information in there, so we could actually say, right, okay, we know it's you, so we don't need that information in there, so we can drag it out. So what you're left with now is just purely the net and the stock code as well. So if you did want to bring in the description, then if I just scroll down a bit further, I can drag and drop that in. So depending on your customer's requirements, they might want to have broken down by nominals, classifications, contract spend. So I guess depending on your customer, you can build that. So it may be the case that they want to see, right, what if I had that's on contracts and non-contracts. So you can see for this customer, everything's been off contracts. So test data is why that is. But potentially you would then see yes for these 3 and no for the other 5 or whatever it is in that list. Okay, so I'll just get rid of that for the time being. Okay, so actually showing the usage then, in your bottom left you've got the measures. So if you were building sales reports, you've got the profits, you've got cost prices and everything else in there. But for usage, we've got the quantity field just here. So I can drag and drop that into my data. Above or next to the net, it doesn't really matter too much at this stage. And then from here, then you can see what they've paid and what the quantities were of those items as well. So effectively, right away, you've got a usage report for your customer. So if you wanted to, you can save as, call it the Ollie Rolls FC usage report for October, or you could save it as a report such as usage report Ollie Rolls FC, and then set it up on an automated routine whereby rather than you coming into the system for that information, you can have it on a routine monthly, weekly, quarterly, whereby that information drops into either your inbox or your customer's inbox automatically for you. So I guess from a usage point of view, depending on your customer's requirements, build a report as you need it, and then pull that through as well. Okay, so in terms of actually sorting, so as you can see at the moment, it's just sorted based on the actual code information. But if you wanted to sort it based on the quantity, something you can do there, you click on the field you wanted to sort by, which in this instance is the code. So if I right click, you've got the option within here to sort it. So as you can see at the moment, it's just A to Z sorting. So if I go to more sort options within here, I can then say, right, okay, I want it descending to the highest at the top. The field that I'm after is I'm sorting it by the quantity. So if you wanted it to sort it by the net, you can do as well. So just select quantity within there, hit OK, and then straight away, punch pockets that's been bought 10 times and the paper 5 times is at the top of the list for that customer as well. So straight away, you've got the report as they need it. So from here, in theory, that usage report is built and ready for that customer. So what you can do there is hit save as, give it a name. So usage report, as an example, Ollie Rolls FC, and then hit OK, and that's then set up for future use. So rather than having to build that report each time, set up and ready for you in the system to do that as well. As you can see, there's totals down the right hand side here as well, but just for your info, you can display totals there as well to give you an overall quantity and net view as well. So you can see there the kind of 21 items of that net as well. So you can remove the net if you wanted to. So if they didn't want to see that information, you can drag and drop that info out of there as well. So it just depends on what information your customer wants to see, and you can build it for them as well. So if it was a case, maybe you've got, say, like a parent and child relationship set up and there's multiple companies that you need to see the usage for, rather than filtering within this criteria on one company record, what you actually could do is, we'll just use account code as an example for now, is if you wanted to filter out different accounts, you can right click, show the quick filter, and if that criteria sheet there didn't have just Ollie Rolls FC within there, you would then see a select few companies within here. So in fact, what I'll do, I'll go back to criteria, which will wipe out everything I've done here, but just to show you that, is if I just refresh that, save criteria, and go back into analysis. Okay, And then from here, as you can see, there's multiple companies within that list now, so it's reverted back to the original report because I've not saved it, or gone back into that save version rather. So what I can do is right click, show the quick filter, and then from there I can see, right, okay, well actually I need to see Ollie and Lex Supplies within that list, so you can actually filter out on those companies as well. Okay, so that's doing it from the analysis report. So effectively what you could do is run it either on invoice sales analysis, which is based on posted invoices or credits, or you could run it from the sales analysis. So depending on, I guess, your customer's needs, you can pick the report that's best suited. So in terms of finding that report in the system now, if I go into custom and run a search on that, I will then find somewhere within here, usage report, there it is at the bottom. So double click that, and that'll then load up the information that I've just saved within there as well. Okay, so this information here now could be good to go every month, let's say as an example, because it's looking at last month's data in October. Then on the 1st of December, the next run, let's send them November's information. So that's done from the admin, and that's one of the automated reports within there as well. So just bear with me 1 second while I find Mike's Prima Cloud icon on here, which is on this screen. 1 second. So if I drag that over, so once you open your Prima Cloud login box, if I just open the application of administration, and then within the administration we've got the automation section. Okay, so over here, automation. So we do have a webinar on this as well, but just for your reference, within here is auto report setup. We can add automated report within there. Just going over to my other screen, let's just bring that over. And then from here now, what we would do is we click new, select from the drop down the report that we're wanting to use, which it was an analysis type report. We then need to find the report name, so usage report Ollie Rolls FC. Put in the two information in the subject, so let me just put some test info in there, and then hit save. And then once you've done so, you can add a schedule on the right hand side, so I can say, right, okay, this customer requirement is on the 1st of the month, so rather than it being weekly, which you can see it could be every day, every week if you wanted to, or it could be monthly, where I say, right, okay, select every month, but I'll just select December just for quickness, and on the first day, or on the first month rather, I can select that, or you can actually specify, right, okay, on the first week, on the first day, whatever it may be, you can select that too, and you can actually define the actual time it sends as well in this section here too. So that's just a quick kind of guide on the auto reports, but effectively the usage reports, you can get your customer requirements, set the reports up in Prima, and just have it automated going through to them daily, weekly, or monthly, quarterly, whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Okay, so that's doing it from the analysis report. So as I mentioned, if you did want to break it down by classifications, by contract spend, by whatever it may be, you can actually filter more information in there if you wanted to as well. So if you do have any kind of specific customer requirements that you're not quite sure of, don't hesitate to get in touch and we can help you kind of build the right report that you're after. Okay, so another report that's potentially quite useful is the spreadsheet report. So if I just search on spreadsheet and standard, there's a report within here, so invoice lines, and also invoice lines with customer address and last dispatch date. So I'll just use invoice lines at the moment, so the only difference, as you can see, is this includes the kind of dispatch info as well. So within here, what I can do, if I just maximise that, I can go into my criteria and I can say, right, okay, it's my test company, so I'll search for them. Oh, hang on, I'm doing that, don't want to overtake the report. Search for the company, put my criteria in, so I'll just leave it as last month for now. Save the criteria, and then go into the spreadsheet here. So that'll then preload all the invoicing credits for that customer in that month. So you can see then broken down by line all the information. So it may be the case, rather than having it all collated, so as an example, if they had the punch pockets over 5 different lines rather than all collated onto one, then you can break it down into that kind of information if you wanted to. So again, it just depends on what your customer wants to see. So what you can do here, as you can see, there's a lot of info that they probably don't need to see. So you can edit the layout, which then takes you into an Excel type designer, and then from that screen there we can actually chop and change the info that we don't need to see. So it may pop up with this form here, so you can actually untick that so it doesn't show up each time, just for your reference. So if I just hit OK there, that's then preloaded the report over here. So from this report right now, the info that I'm probably kind of most important with is the code, description, and all this kind of info here isn't really relevant. So what I can do is, I don't need to know the salesperson, I can right click, delete that out of there, OK, and then just kind of chop and change the info out of here. So it may be the case that you want to keep some of this information, but you want it kind of behind the code information there. So what you can do is cut the code info, right click in there and insert a new column, paste it in, so Control and V or right click and paste, and then to bring it along the report. So you can chop and change the report as you need to. So as you can see, you can copy and paste, you can delete columns out of here, and then once you're happy, you can go to File, apply and exit, and those changes you just made in that report, so removing, let's say, the cost information, the salesperson, the info they don't need to see, remove all that information out, and potentially the other sheets within there as well by right clicking on those and deleting. You can then save as, and that report's then stored as a custom copy for you to use in future use. So it could be like a usage report that you build, and you can just then every now and then go into the criterion, set it against the Lex Suppliers company or the Mike Smith company, and you can then actually kind of filter out. Using one report, you can create, let's say, 3 or 5 or whatever it may be from there as well, or just chop and change it as you need to as well. Okay, and you can of course export it into Excel if it's just a one-off and you're just wanting to quickly get the info rather than having it automated and stuff as well. So those options are there for you as well. Okay, something else that you can do, so if it was like a current month situation where you're wanting to get, let's say, the sales lines or something, then what you can do is from SOP and orders, if you come into here and if you search on, let's say, a specific company, so let's say my test company again, you can search on status if you wanted to, so rather than seeing kind of the outstanding stuff as well, you could see actually all I'm interested in is the invoice stuff. If you wanted to, you could see like what's been delivered, what's on order, etc. So, and again, clicking on this extended search, you can search on other things as well if you wanted to as well. So again, depends on customer requirements. So if I just run a search within there now, that's then going to show me all the sales orders that have been invoiced for that client. So if I wanted to break that down by the lines, just underneath the customer search here, you've got the option for main, which is currently sat on, and also lines. So if I just click that and hit search, that's then bringing through, could be multiple entries from an order, such as this one here, so from the 85 order there, showing the line breakdown instead. Something quite useful that's in here as well is the fact that it's got the call off quantity as well. So if a customer calls up and says, what's my usage on call off item 134633, you can actually kind of view the information within Prima, let them know what it is, or you can right click and export the data from there as well. Of course, once you've exported it into Excel, you need to remove the cost, the margin, everything, because you don't want to show your customer that, of course. So that's another kind of option in terms of getting a usage report out of Prima as well. If they're asking the question of the top 30, the top 50, the top 100, then as an example, within the customer review, which if I just kind of quick link into my test company, that information is already in that customer review report, but otherwise you can use the sort option, sort it by, let's say, the highest quantity at the top, as I did before on the analysis report, and then export into Excel and remove the other 100 items that are in there and just leave it the top 50 as an example, if that is the customer's request. But from here, as mentioned, customer review, if I just load that one up, and I don't know what data is on here because it's a test database, but we'll just see anyway. And then from, I think it's like the third or fourth page in, you can then actually see the usage by the net and also by the quantity as well. So if you're wanting something a bit more kind of easy on the eye, you can use this report as well. So taking a few seconds to load there. So if I just maximize that, so the criteria on this report at the moment, just by default, is purchases for the year. So you can see the net spend, contract versus non-contracts, and all the different information within there. But from a usage point of view, if I just scroll down, you can see ordering habits and stuff as well. That's particularly useful. But then you've got the top 30 products by quantity. So as you can see here, also marked whether it's on contract. And then the next page shows you by the value as well. So obviously if it's a usage report they're after, this particular page on here might be exactly what they're after with more information that they actually needed as well. So go in the actual kind of mile for the customer as well. Okay, so from a usage point of view then, that's everything from today's session. If you do have any questions, you can ask away in the live chat now, or if you're watching this back, feel free to get in contact with the team or drop training@primasoftware.co.uk an email if you want to book in a session. But yeah, everything for today. Thanks for your time and have a great weekend.